Hello and welcome to the Integrative Health Convention 2018 online interviews. Today we're going to find out more about AJ Langer Courtenay, who is the Countess of Devon, having married the current Earl of Devon, and in America she was known as AJ Langer before she was married, and she was a Hollywood actress out there. And now she's over here managing Powderham Castle together with the Earl of Devon, and this is where we're going to go in a minute and meet her. She's coming to talk to us at the Integrative Health Convention at the Park Plaza Victoria this 13th and 14th of October 2018 about chronic pain and what if pain isn't a bad thing. A patient perspective and a different perspective on chronic pain. I think it's so important that we get a patient perspective, because that's who, at the end of the day, we're treating as doctors, as therapists. And I'm so privileged to have someone of her stature there with us this October. The Integrative Health Convention is an annual convention in London featuring many leaders in their fields of complementary and conventional medical therapies to help people get better through all these various healing practices. It's an opportunity for doctors, therapists to meet, share, learn from, and connect with each other. We believe that true health is holistic and that people get better in more than just one way. We believe we all have so much to learn from each other, and that the Integrative Health Convention provides a stage for this for therapists, for doctors, and the public. There are, unfortunately, a limited number of tickets available, which can be purchased at integrativehealthconvention.co.uk, and I'll put a description down below. And right now, we're going over to Powderham Castle on a sunny summer's day in Devon. Powderham Castle is just outside Exeter. It's a tourist destination if you ever come to Devon, which is an amazing place to have a holiday in the UK. So many things to see. They've got amazing grounds. Please do visit when you're down here. This series of online interviews will help you get to know our speakers who are leaders in their fields of health and healing and therapy and medicine, and maybe help you decide which talk to attend out of the 36 talks that we have to choose from over 2 days at the Integrative Health Convention 2018 at the Park Plaza Victoria. I'm your host, Dr. Wong. I've been a GP for 12 years in Devon, and I'm co-founder of Neurolinguistic Healthcare Limited, the organisers of the Integrative Health Convention. Neurolinguistic Healthcare provides courses in advanced communication skills and therapeutic techniques, as well as training in hypnosis for healthcare providers. Today I'm speaking to one of our excellent speakers who's coming to the 2018 Integrative Health Convention at the Park Plaza. This is AJ, and we're going to find out more about her and what to expect from her talk at the convention this October. So AJ, should we let the audience know a little bit more about yourself and perhaps what we haven't said already?
Sure. My name is AJ. I have grown up with a very adventurous life, and when I was very young I was an athlete and started getting pain that would make it difficult for me to continue on in certain sports. I was a baseball player, very Western sports focused family, and it's been a very long story. I'm not going to sit here with a miracle recovery for anyone. I used to take the books that talked about those miracle recoveries and throw them across the room in frustration. But there's so much that I've learned over the 4 decades that I've been dealing with what people like to call fibromyalgia, which is an autoimmune disorder. But I do think it's a term that is really confusing for people. I didn't like it. I didn't like to identify with it because it was frustrating. You know, when I was diagnosed at 14, I was told, well, I heard a man tell my mom, a doctor, tell my mom he thought I was faking it. For the next 10 years, I hid it from everyone because faking an illness was like, it just felt like I felt betrayed. And I felt like, well, maybe it is me. Because here's a doctor that I respect, that everyone respects, that my mom took me to get answers from, and his answer was he thought I was faking it. So obviously it's not as bad as I think it is, and so I won't mention it again. I continued to exercise a lot because it made me feel strong, but I constantly had fatigue coming in, different aches and pains, and then when I was 14, was in that I was in a squeeze play in baseball, American baseball, when you slide into home plate, and the pitcher and the catcher and all three of us collided, and my hip went out, and the pain spread down my legs, up my head, down my arms. I would get 105 fevers. I was also a very emotional being from a young age, in a family where, my mother was raised military, and emotions, and my father was raised with a manic depressive mother, so emotions made everyone uncomfortable. So I hid those too, as much as I could, and I think that a lot of the expression that my body had was frustration with needing to be free, needing to be able to say what I'm feeling when I'm feeling it, and having an environment that was open to that. That was part of the journey. There's so much to talk about, and I wanted to focus on, for this conversation, one of the things that's been most healing for me is opening up my mind to what if pain's not a bad thing. Because there was so much shame related to it. And I introverted all of the frustration, the shame, everything I was feeling, if it was emotional or if it was physical. And I think it just got so packed into my body that it didn't have anywhere to go. And it just needed to be freed. And the way that I've been able to continue to have an adventurous and big life is by learning to listen to it, and getting as much support as I could in helping me determine what it's trying to tell me. Which is how I met Dr. Wong. I made a move from my home, my very, very healing sanctuary home in California, my life that I had built with a very big support system of different modalities. With fibromyalgia, your body can, with things, autoimmune disorders and any kind of enigmatic condition of chronic pain, it can express itself in very different ways at different times, in different circumstances, and it can really make you feel crazy. And it's having a support system that can help you get perspective is essential. And I've tried every form of exercise. I've tried every form of therapy. To the point where I felt like, a lab rat for probably 2 decades. And I want to share my journey in hopes that other people's journey doesn't have to take so long, because I do have complete faith that things have progressed to the point where that phase of victimhood mentality of feeling helpless can be a lot shorter. I still think there's a purpose for it, because, when you can overcome the instinct to make yourself a victim, and the horrible feeling of feeling helpless, and the unhealthy instinct that means well, but it's not healthy, of isolation. So the pain, the enigmatic nature of what was going on was so hard to explain. A lot of times in the culture, I mean, my dad would just say, don't talk about any of your pain. It makes people uncomfortable. Which of course was his instinct. It made him uncomfortable. I mean, and when you have kids, you understand that completely. When people you love are in pain and you don't know what to do, it makes you uncomfortable. So a lot of the times finding comfort with where you are and how you communicate and handle different symptoms and situations automatically gives other people comfort. My father has been very inspired by how I've done things. I mean, I started working out in a gym when I could no longer just go outside, because I was working with somebody who's monitoring me and helping me. For a period of time, that was a good, healthy answer. And now my dad goes to the gym regularly. I found a yoga instructor who was very inclusive, and helped everybody adapt, so that their practice was nourishing and loving, and not this power yoga kind of thing. It was the process is the practice, so it's not goal oriented, and those kinds of things of being that example is not only empowering to yourself, it's empowering to everybody around you. And one of the things that got me I felt such relief when I met you, because I left my sanctuary of a home with this massive support system and also a professional career that I was good at, that I was passionate about, that was it was based on me expressing emotion. And then coming out to England, to the countryside, very different weather, and a lot of pressure. I mean, it's a big fairy tale. The reality of it is more like a Grimm's fairy tale in some in some circumstances. I mean, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, incredible amounts of gratitude for the abundance. It can also be a lot of pressure, and I'm away from my home, my family, everything that gave me a sense of identity. And to walk in and having such an experience with so many doctors who don't understand, to walk in and meet Dr. Wong, who was so just practical and positive. One of the things that's the hardest is, it's like there was a woman there was a character I played who had a grand mal seizure. And so in preparing for that role, I studied all the types of seizures and all the reasons people have seizures, epilepsy, and the common theme was the most difficult thing to deal with was other people's reactions, was how freaked out people got, how uncomfortable people became. And so when I was in a situation where a woman fell on me having a grand mal seizure in the middle of the theater, I relaxed my body. And I explained to everyone in the theater that the best thing we could all do right now for this person is relax as much as possible. Relax our bodies and just hold space. And everyone did, and I talked them through the phase of her seizure as she was going through it. And it was such an experience of having studied something and brought understanding to it, and knowing that the best thing I could do for this person is to make sure everyone is relaxed and loving her through this. And the first step to doing that is making sure I was relaxed, that my body relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of pain is stress on top of stress, or shame on top of shame. And the sooner we can learn to relax our bodies and let things flow and focus on comfort, which is what you gave me when I walked into that room. I was so scared. I was feeling very small, and there was no magic pill. I didn't need medication. I mean, I was taking Western medicine, which I do at times, but I know that I need baby doses, and I loved having a doctor that understood that. When I was first diagnosed, I was diagnosed with a lot of things, MS, lupus, tested and tested positive for these things. When I was 21, when I was 21, I did a trapeze act.
Right.
Always drawn to extremes. But it was working out 3 hours a day, and my favorite painkiller was adrenaline. Because it made me feel strong, it made me look strong, so no one knew I was having any other experience. You know, I looked really fit and healthy. I didn't get any pity from anyone when I looked strong.
Yeah.
Which was another thing I appreciated when I came to see you, is a lot of times when people hear, oh, you have fibromyalgia, that's horrible.
Yeah.
That must be the worst. And it's like,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like when the best thing to give someone is faith and positivity, and, you know, understanding when it's hard. But it's when it's hard that you have the opportunity to listen. That's when the messages are getting their loudest. And you feel like you're about to explode with something, or something's about to break, or your body's about to, you know, just completely give up. Sometimes I was convinced that I was dying, because it is a mortality check when you have chronic pain for an extended period of time. I mean, people who have very good health, if they have a headache for more than 2 hours, there's a chemical reaction that happens in your brain where your thoughts turn negative.
That happens much quicker for a man than a woman.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that's
called
really
man flu,
interesting.
yeah.
Man
real.
It's real. Goodness. Where was I?
So I think that's amazing, because I'm sure we'll learn so much from you. And, you know, since I've got to know AJ, she's taught me so much about fibromyalgia, so much about pain. You know, you would think that I knew everything already, you know, being a doctor, but I know, you know, the only people you can learn from are the people experiencing it.
Yeah.
And which is why I think coming to AJ's talk will be so beneficial for all the delegates coming to listen to her. And I think you'll take a lot away from that, and if you were to treat anyone or to experience anyone with similar symptoms, this will help you a lot. AJ, I'd like to talk about what you do now, actually, because you're a social entrepreneur now.
Yes.
Yeah. And could you tell us a little bit more what you do here at Powderham?
Yes. So right now I am CEO of Heritage Enterprises, which is the public-facing side of Powderham. So when we got here, the house had been run. I mean, We call it a 800-year-old startup. The house has been here since 1390. It was always run as a business, even before it was open to the public, in that it was serving a purpose. And it was, I mean, this was the third largest trade port in England. It has evolved and reinvented itself in so many ways. Every family, every generation that has lived in this house has used it and purposed it for that time. And they've done it in a very sustainable way. And so it's basically, we showed up and it was very last minute. We weren't prepared. It was more sudden than we were expecting. We came to England for a visit and never went home. So through that process of grieving the loss of Charlie's father, other family members, the loss of our home in California, it was a real opportunity for rebirth, not just for us personally, but as a family, as a business.
That's right.
And so we're now launching, this is year 0 of our business plan, and we are taking everything that's here and doing what a lot of big businesses are doing, which is bringing social purpose to sit at the table, and bringing it into every aspect of the business. So as a massive sanctuary of beautiful gardens and I mean, it's 3,500 acres of fairy tale looking land. If you've never been to Devon, please come. It will blow you away. It feels like you're living in a gorgeous novel. It's very magical, and there's so many special people here. We have a lot of charities that we have come. We've got a sanctuary for caretakers, as well as those with special needs who are very active at Powderham, and we want to kind of build on that and make sure that our educational programs are diverse and inclusive and done as well as possible. So we're turning this business from being, a loss-making business to being not only profitable, but all the profit is reinvested into social purpose in the local community. There's a lot of community building, which is something that's that I'm very passionate about, and I'm convinced it's because of the health benefits of building community. It makes me feel healthy. So everything that I do is driven by what my body tells me. My body tells me when things feel good. And as a businesswoman, especially in this day and age, 15 years ago when we wrote a business plan with sustainability and inclusiveness and so many other of these words, they were termed Californian, far too Californian. But now there are feasibility studies everywhere. There's great examples of social enterprise with the Eden Project. Yeah. And so all of these things, just like with health and integrative medicine, which there was such a bar between the two when I was young. I would go to Western medicine and I was treated like a lab rat. At 21 when I did that trapeze act. I never finished that story. I did a trapeze act. I was also working on a show called My So-Called Life. And it was just overtaxing my body. I also got the chicken pox. And I tried to push through to do the show, and I sprained my back. And the next year, I couldn't move for a year. Basically, I was laid up, and that's when it really spread through. And the doctors gave me 5 prescriptions for narcotic medications that my body couldn't handle. And so for that year, I tried each one I tried different combinations. I was ready to check myself into a mental institution, because it was separating me from my body. Anyway, I just talk all over the place. I'll be more organized on the day.
That's all right.
But what we're doing here is we're creating a business that facilitates social purpose and community building and health and happiness. The community interest company that I'm building is to facilitate health and happiness through community education and the arts.
And it does, and there's a lot of research on showing that these things make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Working in a local surgery here, I can tell you people down this end and are really centered around Powderham Castle. You employ so many people in the community. It keeps everyone talking to each other, and I think they're a lot healthier for it. We're a lot less busy and a lot less stressed than other GPs who you hear about all the time, giving up their work because it's too stressful. Seriously, it's not down here. Another reason to come down.
Another reason.
And I have one last question, AJ. I'm asking everyone this, because as someone with so many years of experience of health and healing, what do you think in particular is the key to healing in what people do?
It's love. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything that's ever worked has had that element present, or has provoked that response from my body of feeling loved. I think that's the most important. And what I find so fascinating now is that the science of happiness is now being incorporated into Western medicine, in a sense that you can't deny the effect that, your nerve systems obviously run all the way through your body.
Absolutely.
And when your nerve system is feeling calmed and nurtured, it relaxes. There's less intense pain signals. So my body will go to fight or flight more often than not. And there's times where it's lived there for years and years. So finding the space to exist in a place of love, to be doing things that are loving. My body doesn't give me the option to not be happy.
Great.
I will be disabled if I'm not.
Brilliant.
So it's not a bad
amazing secret.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, AJ. Thanks for coming to speak to us. Remember to get your tickets early from our website. You can follow the links below. We are the Integrative Health Convention at the Park Plaza Victoria in London on the 13th and 14th of October. Come join us. I think you'll really enjoy it. There'll be lots and lots of speakers. I wish I could attend every single one of these talks. They're absolutely amazing, and absolutely amazing people coming to speak. So you'll be able to meet AJ, myself, and as a gift from us to you, you can use the discount code podcast10, which I'll put below, which will give you a 10% discount from us to you.
Great. I look forward to being there and to meeting everyone. This is the first time I'm doing anything like this.
This is the first time we're holding anything like this. It's going to be amazing.
Very excited.
Doctors, therapists, people from the public all talking to each other in the same place. Thank you.
Thank you.